We have a tendency to live in resistance, to toss and turn with timidity, and yet our generation isn't afraid to flash its fancy lights and post its latest thoughts. We tag one another and then we hashtag our lives to maybe prove to the world that we indeed have something different to offer. And yet when the tide rolls in and we have the opportunity to get in, there's a drop in us that doesn't. We wait out the waters instead, because sometimes the waters are too rough and sometimes they're just not rough enough. We weigh out the pros and the cons, and if a con includes making us look less than what we think we look, there's no chance we're catching those waves. And if a pro doesn't include something we can Snapchat, we pass those waves, and then we sit in generational dust waiting for the next perfect tide to roll in. I had a conversation with the Lord the other day, and it went something like this. Patricia, get in the water. God, I thought I already was. You're not deep enough, he said. Tell me, why do you always settle for just getting your toes wet? I'm almost embarrassed to admit that my response was, well, I just don't trust myself. And he said, well, that's your problem, Patricia. It's not about trusting yourself. It's about trusting me. Get in. Solomon wrote in Ecclesiastes about vanity, and vanity in Hebrews means mist or vapor or breath. And he goes on and he talks about all these different breaths in life that don't matter, because at the end of the day, the only thing that satisfies any dissatisfaction is God's breath, the breath that was breathed from the beginning. And when I reflect on this truth, rather than reflecting on my own reflection in the water, I am reminded, or I am shown, I come to realize that essentially Solomon is writing that whatever I breathe in and whatever I breathe out, it doesn't matter unless I'm breathing in and breathing out that breath from the beginning, God's breath. So I sit here to empower us, as harsh as it might sound, to get over ourselves, to spend less time reflecting on our own reflections in the water and more time getting in the water and looking for the people that are waiting for truth. Solomon wrote in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 22, that there is no greater thing, no better thing than a person who rejoices in his work. And so, brothers and sisters, rejoice. When the tide rolls in and you have the opportunity to get in, rejoice that you can get in. You see, God is greater than any of our reflections that we see or that the world sees. So let us rejoice. Let us get in the water and proclaim the truth that Jesus is alive, and because he is alive, we get to live.